Hey everyone, we're here at Baratza with a true coffee legend, Phil Mcnite. Phil, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks for the introduction. I'm not sure about the legend bit, but yeah, I've been around coffee for a long time. So since 2002, I've been involved in specialty coffee.
For as long as I've been in coffee, I've always kind of known your name. I mean, I've only been in it since about 2011 or so,
Right.
but your name has always been around.
That was the year that Breville launched the dual boiler.
Yes, it was.
Which is basically, I think that was the watershed product that really set, I think, Breville on a trajectory into the coffee space that really set the tone for the future. And I think we're resting on the laurels of that product.
And now look at where it is now. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we've used that dual boiler platform in so many different products. Mm-hmm. And they've all been great products for us and for consumers. So yeah, I'm very proud of that product, to be honest.
And speaking of great products too, we do have the new Baratza ESP right over here.
Yeah, we do. So this has been a couple of years in the making. We launched the Encore ESP, which solved a lot of problems with the original Encore. The original Encore, a great entry-level grinder and still is. But the problem with that grinder is it's not great for espresso. It can do espresso, but it really doesn't have the grind adjustment resolution to allow you to dial in a recipe. So the ESP solved that problem with the dual pitch ramp. And then we had 20 settings out of 40 that were in the espresso range. And they had a very nice resolution, quite appropriate for espresso. But we saw that there was an opportunity to improve on that mechanism because it was just the first time we'd ever developed it and iterated it into a product. So Kyle Anderson, the co-founder of Baratza, was still heavily involved in product development, and he came up with a mechanism that's got two tracks that the Burr adjustment mechanism operates within, and that allowed us to do a couple of key things. So first of all, we now have 270 degrees of total rotation in the adjustment mechanism as opposed to 180. We've increased the number of grind settings to 60. But when I say 60, it's like this is our first stepless grinder. So I like to refer to that as a position indicator rather than how many clicks or what setting you're on. It's a nice reference to get you back to a point where you might have been making espresso and you had it set at, say, 26.5, and then you go and make pour over and you've got it up in the 40s somewhere. You can come back to 26.5 and then you can move from that point. So that mechanism allowed us to have a greater range and also deliver a much higher resolution. So in terms of microns per degree of rotation of the grind mechanism, it's 2.2 microns per degree. So there is
that step.
Exactly.
Not step.
So that not step, exactly. So if you want to rotate just one degree while you're in the espresso range, then you'll just get 2.2 microns of Burr movement. So that's giving you the greatest level of flexibility because then you can dial in any recipe you want.
Any sort of coffee whatsoever. With that 2 micron difference, that's all we really need.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not really going to need anything greater than that. And then once you go past setting, position 40, then the ramp gets steeper, and then you're into the brewed coffee zone. So then you move through pour over, drip, French press, and cold brew. So, and it's got the full range. So there's no compromise just because we've got a really high resolution and lengthy espresso range.
Do we know that max size micron for like cold brews or anything like that?
So it's the same as the ESP. So it's what I can't recall what the spec is, but we didn't reduce the total range of the grinder because we've got that additional 90 degrees of rotation that allowed us to put that into the espresso range.
Yeah, much testing that I found was right around that 1,000 micron. So,
yeah, right.
And then that particle distribution starts curving out a little bit out there, so you get a lot of those boulders and kind of into those fines and everything like that. But
everything you need for cold brew.
Everything that you need for cold brew, for really good cold brew as well.
Yeah.
So. So let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about the body here as well. So there's a couple key details that really changed here.
So what we've done here is, the first thing we've done is we've got a dead front display. So the grinder looks really, really modern, updated and sleek on your counter. When it's turned off, it's just a gorgeous piece of product on your countertop. When you press the encoder, then all of a sudden the display lights up for you. So then you can start to operate the grinder. We've got some downlights in the work area, so you can see what's going on when coffee's being delivered into this is a dosing cup, so espresso dosing cup for 58 ml or 54 ml portafilters. It's made of anti-static material, the same stuff that we make our grind spins out of. So even though we have an ionizer in here as well. So up in the grind chute, we've got ionization technology, which reduces a lot of the static and the retention from the grind chute. Then we couple it with anti-static materials that we use in the parts that catch the actual coffee coming out of the Burr system. So,
and with the coffee going in, I noticed there was a couple changes here as well,
yep,
as on how it's actually fed into the system.
Yeah, this is quite different. So we've got this is a single dose hopper, so this comes with the product. It's not something that you have to buy separately, and you can pre-weigh your beans, empty them in, put it on top, and then you can just grind. So, and away you go. Or the other mode you can use is the hopper mode. So with this, I love this because I hate hoppers that don't have shutoffs, because it just makes it so problematic to change coffees when you want to. So you just pop this on top, slots in, there you go.
Quick and simple. So
exactly.
It's just that action here.
Yep.
To just open that up.
Locks the hopper in place and it opens the ports so the beans can flow into the Burr system. So while we're talking about that, it's like probably this is if I want to put it into hopper mode, I press and hold the encoder, and then you can see the little timer comes up. Now, so that indicates that you're in timer mode now. So that's the workflow. We always have its grind position is priority on the display, so you can see we're at grind position 51.5. But if we turn the encoder, then it immediately goes to the timer. So you can adjust the timer in 0.1 second increments, and then you can use a timer as a proxy for dose if you wish. So you can fill your hopper up, and then you know, oh, okay, so I need to run my grinder. My grinder likes to run for about 12.6 seconds for my 18 grams of coffee, for the coffee I'm using. So you don't have to get the scales out. You can just use this as a proxy. A lot of people still operate like that. So, but if we're going back to single dose mode, then we can take the hopper off. We can press the encoder. Then we're in single dose mode. Now what happens here is, you weigh out your beans. Got our Kaya Luna. Pour out our beans. We've got our 18 grams. Tip it into the grinds area. Put the single dose hopper back on, and then when you start the grinder, it starts grinding coffee, and then once it's sensed that the last bean has been ground, then it automatically stops the grinder.
Gotcha.
So auto off is basically the situation for single dose mode is what we call it. So the other things that you notice in the top, it's a little different. So what we've got under here is we've got a flow control disc. So we have the same M2 burr that we're using in the ESP. So that's our highest spec conical burr, 38mm conical burr, made by Etzinger in Liechtenstein. It's also got the quick release knob on the top, so the burr doesn't thread onto the drive shaft, which makes it's pretty impossible to get it off without the right tools to get it off. So when you want to clean the grinder out completely, it's a problem. You can't do it. You need to send it in. So this allows you to simply just unturn the knob, take off the flow control disc, and just lift the burr straight out. And then the burr comes out, the paddle comes out, and then everything's open to clean.
quick and easy cleaning. I feel like a lot of people are in that habit now too of like pretty often now wanting to
focus.
clean.
Yeah, I think I remember maybe it was a year ago, James Hoffman reached out to us and he said, I'm doing a thing on cleaning. I'm coming to Baratza because you guys are the experts. Like, what's your advice on a cleaning routine and protocol for grinders? So we gave him our version of like what's good practice.
Yep.
So I think it's a bigger thing, I think, with grinders and with espresso machine and generally just coffee equipment. People are realizing that if it's not clean, you're going to get taste taint.
Yeah.
So it's an actual thing.
Yeah, and then now you're getting into that single dose range, so there's a whole bunch of different kinds of coffees.
Exactly.
Maybe they want to clean it out between their really nice coffees that they now have at home.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very good point because people are spending more and more money on high-end specialty coffees, and you don't want something that was in the grind mechanism tainting what's going in your next cup of your expensive Panama Geisha.
Yeah, so this is definitely prepared for that high-end specialty coffee.
Absolutely. The other things that we've done we've added a lot of metal to the product. So this whole front area is all die-cast zinc that's been anodized after it's been cast. So it's ultra durable, really sleek, and when you feel the weight of the product, it's just you can feel the quality and the money that we put into all these metal components. So that is also a change for us. So,
and for the moment, just in that black.
It's just in black. Yeah, we'll explore other colours. Once we get past launch and initial production, and we'll see what colours we can come up with in terms of the coating process that's been used.
Gotcha.
One thing I did want to point out while we're here is just when if we go from, so you can see that where this indicates the grind. This is the grind position, so 51.5, and then when we go finer, you'll see that once we get below 40, then the ESP comes up. So that lets you know that you're now in the espresso range. So you've got that much higher resolution per degree of rotation once you're below 40. So then it's a good visual indicator. You don't need to remember, it's up above 40. It automatically shows you that you're in and out of the espresso range of the grinder.
And how is it reading that number too?
How is it reading? So we're borrowing some of Breville's tech. So we're using a digital encoder there that's attached to the Burr adjustment mechanism. So it's something that Breville uses on a lot of its product to indicate grind position on its displays. So we sort of did a copy paste. We took the tech that they were using, which made it super quick. We didn't have to develop that, and they already had the firmware developed and the systems for that and the circuitry for it. We did the same with the ionization as well. So Breville's already developed some really good anti-static ionization technology. We just lifted and shifted that as well, so just copy paste, because then we didn't have to go and source the componentry, work out the circuitry. That was already done for us. So I suppose that's the benefits of a smaller, agile brand being part of a big company that's got a lot of resources behind it. So
that's the first thing that I learned in engineering too. It's if you can reverse engineer it, why not?
Exactly. Yeah. Why not use what's already there? Yep. I don't need to go and reinvent the wheel. So
exactly.
Yeah. So we're super excited about the product, and I think that at $299.95, I think it's going to be just an awesome product for us. It answers a lot of, I think, the needs of consumers. I think they want better resolution in the espresso range, and then they want the really nice features, like they want anti-static, they want the ability, to change their workflow. A lot of people still want to use a hopper.
Yep.
It's very common, but we've got the evolution towards weighing and single dosing, so we've got that captured as well. So together with we've done. You'll notice it's relatively quiet as well in comparison to probably what the original Encore is. We've done a lot of work on, I suppose, on realigning our gearbox. A lot of changes were made internally. We've got better gear alignment, better drive shaft alignment, and all of those things will flow down into the rest of our conical range as soon as we get out of the launch phase of this product. So look for quieter Encores, quieter Virtuoso Plus, quieter ESPs in the future.
Yeah, sub 70 decimal areas.
Yeah, well, that'd be lovely.
Yeah,
that'd
that
be
would.
lovely.
Perfect. Well, Phil, thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
Zach,
All
no
of the wonderful info and background of this grinder.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to the launch.